What is up, YouTube? Welcome to another edition of Nerdy Sense Reviews. It's your boy Corey, and I just got back from seeing one hell of a movie. Deadpool was hilarious, and I'm going to start out just by saying that a lot of people have been waiting for this movie, and it was worth the wait. Ryan Reynolds been working on trying to get this movie out for something past of 8 years. We got a Deadpool once, and honestly, it wasn't all that good. Now we have an actual Deadpool, and he's every bit as good as you could have hoped for and more. When I saw this movie, all I could think about was how many fourth wall breaks were we going to get? And was it going to be 21st Century Fox just throwing them in there just to throw them in there? Or were they actually going to be funny and well placed and serve a purpose? And they did. I mean, the wall breaks were not excessive, but I'm not going to say they were barely in the film at all. There were quite a few, but they served in moving the story forward or providing some comic relief at the time, what might have been dead areas in the film. They actually really did a great job.
Shit. Did I leave the stove on? Hear the music. Oh. I'm touching myself tonight.
A lot of people seem to subscribe to this belief that we're put on Earth for a purpose. And if that is true, Ryan Reynolds was put on this Earth solely to be Deadpool. After seeing this movie, I honestly believe it, because no one could play this role like Ryan Reynolds has played it. I mean, this guy reaches RDJ levels. And when I say RDJ, I mean Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark and Iron Man. Like, you can't imagine Iron Man as anyone else except Robert Downey Jr. And it's because he plays the hell out of that role. I see Ryan Reynolds as Wade Wilson / Deadpool now. Like, there's no getting around it. He did an amazing job. His delivery of the crude jokes.
I never say this, but don't swallow.
The one-liners.
Pity the dude who pressures her into prom sex.
The sarcastic comebacks.
Yeah, you're way too much dude for me.
Just the off-the-wall sex jokes.
Why are you hiding that?
Nowhere.
The delivery of facial, and non-verbal cues. Being able to look at the camera and break the fourth wall so perfectly.
Time to make the chimmy fucking chongas.
He did everything that Deadpool does. He did everything that Wade Wilson does. And he did it to perfection. It was absolutely brilliant the way he delivered this role. And I cannot praise him enough for the way that he delivered this character to us. He had everyone in the theater cracking up. There were people behind me crying, like literal tears of comedy, because of the way that he delivered his lines, the way that he delivered certain actions. It was great. One thing that I also appreciate about this movie are the two villains, Ajax or Francis, who's played by Ed Skrein, and then we have Gina Carano, who does Angel Dust. First of all, Angel Dust is kind of big, bulky, but there's something about a woman with muscle I find her very attractive. Gina Carano, she did an amazing job. Even though she didn't have a lot of lines, she didn't have really any lines at all. Her job was just to be the brute force, the enforcer in the movie. And she does it pretty well. She had the scowl down. All she did basically the whole movie was keep a straight face and hit shit. As Ajax or Francis, his whole purpose in the movie was to be a douchebag, to be an asshole, And the little tit for tats that he does, that Ajax does with Wade Wilson / Deadpool, it just makes the film so funny.
That never survives this place is a sense of humor.
We'll see about that, Posh Spice.
The way this film finesses between being serious and having that comedy relief is just perfect. And with Ed Skrein and Ryan Reynolds on screen together, like, they finesse it so well. It's just the little tit for tats, the comebacks. Of course, they fight each other, but there's just comedy even when they're fighting each other. And this movie, it is not Disney's Marvel, so I can't really compare it. But 21st Century Fox, they really redeemed themselves after the garbage can of a movie that Fantastic Four was. You could tell they really wanted to do it right. And the fact that this movie only cost $30 million to make, and it was as good as it was, just in production, just in the level of quality of production, was... It's great. Like, I can't harp on this movie enough. We do have some scene stealers, of course, in this movie. Brianna Hildebrand, who played Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Then we got Greg LaSalle as Colossus. Colossus was was hilarious. That his point was to be like that nagging moral conscience of the film, but just the way that Greg LaSalle, the way that he presented things as far as his voice goes, it made for just more comedy on top of that. For Brianna Hildebrand, she was kind of like that teenager that you just like want to choke. She definitely had that teenage air about her. And I think it served a purpose. It just served a purpose to let you know that what kind of state the X-Men are in, and to let you kind of bring you back to the roots of this is Xavier's School for the Gifted. So he does have a lot of teenagers there. Yes, there are plenty of references to the X-Men, which brings me to my next point, that this film is definitely setting up for the X-Force. Ryan Reynolds even said that his next priority was to get the X-Force started. So expect heavy references to X-Men. But back to Brianna Hildebrand. This girl is going to be a great star. I see good things in her future, because although she didn't really have a lot of camera time, she had a couple of scenes here and there. She really stole the show for me when she was on screen. It was great seeing her seeing her character, Teenage Negasonic Warhead, interact with Deadpool. And they just did a great job setting that up. Morena Baccarin as Vanessa. She is so freaking hot. And her character, Vanessa, really meshed well with Wade Wilson. They really do set a tone early on in the film. You know what this film is going to get just from their interactions alone. Like, their level of chemistry, but also their lines and their dialogue in the film lets you know that this film is going to be dirty early on. And you'll see what I mean when you see the movie, but I felt like they really set the tone. Overall, I thought that this movie was great. I thought that Ryan Reynolds delivered Deadpool to perfection. And for this film to only be $30 million in, and then probably an extra $10 million with marketing and promotion and things like that. So they probably only ended up spending somewhere between $60 million to $70 million for this film alone, just to market it, to make it. All of those things said, Fox scored a home run with this film. I have to give Deadpool an A. It was a great film. If you guys have any reservations about seeing this film, just go ahead, do it, make it happen, because this film was great, and it was such a good way to kick off the year of the superhero. Man, 21st Century Fox, you did good. I can't wait to see how you do with X-Men Apocalypse. Just make us forget about Fantastic Four. I know some people never forget, never forgive, but I'm telling you, 21st Century Fox, you took a big first step in redeeming yourselves, and I know you're on the verge. You got to be on the verge of financial collapse as far as superhero movies go, because X-Men was really the only thing you were doing good on. Now you delivered us a great Deadpool, and hopefully you can take this learning experience into Fantastic Four and deliver that one day. Probably not anytime soon, but one day. Anyway, make sure you go see Deadpool. It's in theaters now. You won't be disappointed. Do not take your kids to see this film. This is not a kiddie film. Stop boycotting everything. This is not for kids. This definitely ain't your grandma or your grandpa's superhero.
This is a different kind of superhero story.
Deadpool ain't even a superhero. He's a mercenary, for God's sakes. So do not take your kids to see this film unless you want them reenacting certain dialogue scenes from the movie at school. And believe me, you don't, because you're going to be called in, they're going to be suspended, and they're going to get like 3 freaking free days out of school. They need to be learning anyway. Stay in school, kids. Don't bring your kids to see this movie, but go see it. Anyway, this is Nerdy Sense. Your boy Corey telling you to go see this movie. I endorse Deadpool with 2 thumbs way up. And I will catch you next time. NS Nation, stand up. Hey guys, what's up? This is your boy Corey from Nerdy Sense. Thank you so much for watching my review. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. One of my priorities for 2016 is really pushing more creator content. So I love your feedback. You guys have been so supportive. Thank you so much. Make sure you visit my social media pages, Facebook, Twitter. I'm always active on there, publishing comments, articles, things of that nature. So if you really want to interact with me, that would be the place. Let's make 2016 a great year for Nerdy Sense and bring other people like us to this channel so they can interact as well. I'll catch you later.